what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Journey Through the Darkside. I'm Daniel.
Simon.
And yeah, I am high up here. You are not shitting. This is...
You like it?
I do kind of like it. I'm a little guy in real life, so I have to kind of sit tall for once.
We're almost the same height now.
Almost. I'm sitting on some phone books too, so that helps. So we're back with another episode. What pay-per-view are we checking out tonight?
SummerSlam 1996, and I'm ready today.
Oh, you gotta get the stats. You got the stats ready already. Go ahead and throw the stats at me.
Man, the stats. This is from Cleveland, Ohio, August 18th, 1996, from the Gund Arena. Attendance.
I hate fucking attendance. It's big four, big four, but it's also in the shitter.
Yeah.
Let's just say I'll go 16,000.
17.
17. All right, not too bad.
17 people.
17 people. That makes more sense. Oh God.
17,000 is not bad though.
I'll say still not bad. Yeah.
Why did we get those in your house?
What's the main event?
The main event was Vader, Shawn Michaels.
The one where he
for the world, yeah,
the fat piece of shit or whatever.
Yeah,
he comes off the top ropes.
It's kind of at least that one moment there is kind of a well-known.
Yeah, it's infamous for what it was.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
He was out there.
It was, but we're not talking about that. The match we're gonna talk about is the Boiler Room Brawl. The Undertaker going up against Mankind. I do want to apologize to everybody out there for like the last month. I've been really skimping on the build-up and the aftermaths of all these because they are all so tightly connected that unless I'm just going to literally go by every review we've already done for the build-up, it's kind of, it's redundant. So if anybody, for whatever reason, is watching this episode and is just like, what's happening? What's going on here? Just go check out our stuff in the archives. Because once again, all you need to know for this match really is for the past few months now, Mankind and Taker have been feuding, and it has been just hellish.
Yep.
And this is the first challenge Taker's actually had where it really is fucking with him. Like, he's literally throwing everything he can at this man and can't seem to bring him down. And which is unusual because, once again, he's used to fighting giants and monsters and everything else. And this is the first time he's fighting a guy who's smaller than him. Maybe a bit more unhinged than anybody's ever
say
faced.
the first time he fought someone smaller than him. He's kind of getting into that now.
Yeah, well, no, but this is the first time he's actually having a feud with somebody who's and not just that, but someone who's getting him, pretty. Because arguably he took out Bret Hart. It was Diesel that ruined the ending of that match. So you wouldn't really say he had trouble with him, but this is the first time where he's actually fighting somebody he just cannot put down. Couple that with the fact that he's got Goldust he's also feuding with. We're getting close to the end of the Goldust Mankind alliance here, so really it is kind of it's kind of playing itself out anyways. So here we are. It's a Boiler Room Brawl. The rules are simple. 2 men enter the Boiler Room because the reason this kind of got set up here, Mankind dwells in the Boiler Room for one.
That's it, yeah.
But at the last pay-per-view, which I'm already blanking on it was International Incident, I think, 9, where Mankind and Taker were brawling, and it just spilled into the Boiler Room. And I guess, and I'll be honest with you, I do not remember the exact how this came about, but I guess Monsoon was just like, want to fight the Boiler Room? We'll fight the Boiler Room! So the match came up, Boiler Room Brawl. Rules are, the person to get out of the Boiler Room, get back to the ring, and retrieve the urn from Paul Bear wins.
See, and at first I was kind of confused on that because I could have swore all they said was the first guy to exit the Boiler Room.
And see, initially, I think they do drop that a couple times. We're like, someone's gonna get a Boiler Room, but then later on, someone would be like, well, yeah, the Boiler Room, and get the urn.
WWF was doing that a lot of that time.
Yeah.
Because they were having a lot of these gimmick matches, which we're going to see in this match.
I would say, coming up this month, you're going to see a handful, and they're also going to have some also odd kind of rules and stuff.
And it seems like the rules would be set at the beginning of the match, but then midway through there's the commentators like, well, by the way, they can or they can't do this. And it's by the end of the match, it's like,
well, that is that. I think they
weren't as bad as WCW about that shit.
Yeah, but the Boiler Room Brawl, even though it is kind of a well-known match, you didn't see a whole lot of them, even in the history of it. Like, I want to say I can only think of 2 other ones, maybe.
Oh, really? I was going to say that wasn't this the only one?
No, Big Show and Mankind would fight on a In Your House pay-per-view, or not In Your House, but back when the In Your Houses was dropped, and there's like one of those B pay-per-view like Backlash or some shit.
I'll have to check that one.
And then there was one on Monday Night Raw one time. I don't remember who was in it. Clearly Mankind. I'm hoping, but
I don't know.
Takamiki Noku versus Brooklyn Brawler, Boiler Room Brawl.
I mean,
that would main event any card here in America.
Hell in a Cell was designed to be
Taker's
match,
and then it would eventually kind of.
And now it's its own pay-per-view, and
It's CM Punk versus Ryback.
Kind of took the luster away from it.
Oh, it definitely does. And I think, honestly, that's probably a good thing here because, I don't know what else you can do with this. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But, honestly, that's what I was saying was, I think with those other ones, they clearly got rid of the retrieve to earn stipulation. So the Big Show, Mankind one was just first one guy, the Boiler Room wins. Yeah. And I believe the one on Raw was, too. If you guys happen to know, drop that shit down below because, seriously, I'm just too lazy to do research. So, you're all going to find that out about TPS in general. We're just kind of lazy at times to do these little small things. We need your help.
Yeah. So, if we're working on a big film, something small and easy like this, whatever.
Can't do it. Can't be bothered. So, we'll start this thing off. Taker makes his way to the boiler. I guess it should be noted that this thing was actually shot, the Boiler Room part was all shot the day before.
Okay.
Breaking kayfabe.
And I have to say, real quick.
No, go ahead.
Obviously, because of the COVID and everything that's going on, all companies now are doing, these little cinematic matches and stuff like that. This is different, I understand. But this was almost kind of one of the first attempts at that.
Absolutely. Took out a different. We took out the ring completely almost.
Yeah.
Because to my knowledge,
they could clearly film it. Okay, cut.
Yeah.
And
you'll see the edits too because every time the camera would bug out, you can just tell they were getting something. So that happened right before the ladder spot. You can just tell that was probably like, okay, cut it real quick. We gotta get this thing set up, and we'll go from there. That happens 2 or 3 times, and they did it realistically too. Because I think today you would just have the static come on for a second and then kick back on, like, we're back. But here, it goes out for a good 30 seconds at a time, and you just hear you hear the crowd boo, and you can hear McMahon or it's like, dude, you literally can just cut it back on right now. You do not have to keep milking this out. But so anyways, lost my train of thought there. We took a detour, and I almost didn't get back on the road. But it was all shot the day before, and then the night of the pay-per-view they show it, and then of course when they get out to the curtain, that's when their match begins, which I thought was always kind of funny because it's just like, what if one crazy, once again, we're in an era where it's still kind of real. Curtain call has not happened yet.
Yeah.
Kayfabe, even though a lot of people are catching on. I just what if that one rogue fan was just like, I'm gonna run backstage and see what Undertaker's doing. Security just misses it, and oh no, the kid runs back there and just pulls the curtain back, and they're both just standing there smoking a cigarette, shit, oh god, we're fighting back off. Okay, I don't know, just for whatever reason that tickled me when I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
So,
and they did that with the backlot brawl, just
yeah. And they actually mentioned that too.
Yeah, they did.
So anyways, Taker makes his way to the Boiler Room, and kind of cool little build up there. He's kind of looking for him. Mankind's hiding somewhere in the bowels of the Boiler Room. So I thought. Oh, go ahead.
I thought it was a neat way because like you mentioned, Taker's shook for the first time.
Yes.
Maybe not for the first time, but
Yeah. No, and not just that, but it's taking him out of his element, putting him in the Boiler Room. But also the fact that, sure, he's hunting him, but it's almost like he's definitely doing the defensive. He's not hunting in the sense of hunting. He's not stalking Mankind. He's actually watching out for him and looking for him. It's almost like he's being hunted, even though we're following Taker. And I love that whole, it's a role reversal thing.
But, he goes to the door, and he's
hesitant. He's almost contemplating, fuck. He knows what's going to happen.
And then,
yeah, because he knows once he gets in there and that door shuts, it's it's on.
But I liked that little, little bit of
little touches. It really does. In this match is really full of them. One thing I will say, as a kid, to me, I was always just about wins and losses. I guess when I was a child, personal feuds, you can settle them in the back. You don't have to go to the match. You can attack. Because, once again, I'm an Attitude Era kid, too. So it's you don't have to wait for the bell to ring. Fucking just jump the guy from behind, beam down with a sledgehammer, and then leave. It's But, I'm thinking to myself, as I'm rewatching this, Taker open the door and gets in there. It's well, the match just started. It's officially started. Just turn around and walk out. Go to the ring, get the urn, and then come back and whoop his ass. You know what I mean? You can do that. And I just remember it taking me back to whenever I was a kid. And I'm really young at this point, 5 or 6 probably. It had to be about 5 because it was.
When did you come out?
I was born in '85, so the match I'm talking about is in '89.
Oh, okay.
And,
So you're okay. I thought
flashback right now. And Saturday Night's main event. The main event was Big Boss Man back when he was actually a world title contender, and not just dragging some dead dude's casket through the cemetery. But he fights Hogan inside a cage for a world title. But as Hogan's coming out to the ring, he's met by Zeus.
Oh.
And Zeus clobbers him down, knocks him unconscious, and throws him in the cage. And even though I'm the biggest Hulkamaniac at that point, I was still like, well, why don't Boss Man just walk out the door, win the title, and then go back in and start clubbing him with a nightstick? Like, why? That seems stupid. Now, I get it. From even like a kayfabe perspective, a cage match should always be, at the time, the feud ender. And if you got to that point, wins and losses don't matter to you anymore. It's about hurting the other guy. So I get it to a certain degree, but at the same time, it's like, well, you could have easily won the title, walked back in there, locked the door so no one can get in there, and then handcuff Hogan to the thing and beat the shit out of him. And so as a kid, I remember thinking the same thing here. Is like, because I'm a big Taker fan when I was a kid, I was just like, turn around and just leave. Like, just leave, get the urn, and then go hunt him down yourself. Like, he'll come after you. He's going to come after you. He's not going to want to lose a match. And so, or he wouldn't even know. Mankind's like hiding in the corner like, I'll get him.
Then he hears the bell.
What the hell happened? What? Oh, you motherfucker. And then dude, that's right there. I'm rebooking this thing right now. So, but, I get it. Once again, with this feud, clearly it's a blood feud. Like, this is, like, Taker, as wits end. He agreed to do the Boiler Room Brawl. He's normally a guy's like, casket match or, body bag match. But at this point, it's like, fuck it. Your match, whatever you want to do, we'll do it. I'm going to end you right here.
Yeah.
So, it does totally make sense. But this is something I thought of, like I said, when I was a kid. I'm just like, you could win. Just turn around and leave right now. He will never find you. He wouldn't even know it. So,
are you trying to put logic into pro wrestling?
I love putting logic in pro wrestling. So this whole show is based on me logically trying to make Undertaker's storyline work in real life and kayfabe. So anyways, as he's stalking around, Mankind finally pops up. One thing you may notice in this is the lack of commentary during the actual brawl. Now, Foley would write in his book later
Except
on.
for the occasional, oh!
Yeah. Well, that's what they'll say, because occasionally what happened was Foley would write that McMahon loved get to review the whole thing before the match was even aired, that he loved it so much that he felt that putting commentary would undermine it. However, Foley's even like, I think it kind of hurt the match, and I gotta agree. I feel like, even though we are,
get into that.
yeah, I was say clearly we are on the entertainment aspect of sports entertainment at this point, but it's still sports entertainment, and to me, I hate the term sports entertainment. I'm a sports guy, and I don't care how ridiculously gimmick the match gets, there should always be a sports element to it, and the commentary is a part of that. So yeah, it is kind of an odd thing to watch. So I know that too. It's like, unless if you're there live, I hate watching like indie footage on TV, or even like old school wrestling, where there's no commentary and all you're watching is just a match. It's just like, this seems so boring. Like, it's a good match, but it's just like, fuck. And that's why I can't watch like Japanese matches. Same thing. Like, unless there's American commentators, I just can't do the not understand what they're saying and just watching the fight unfold. Unless if it's Ospreay and Ricochet, that's totally different because that was just like mesmerizing. But anyway, yeah. So this had a very lack of commentary, and I will say, doesn't hurt it completely, but it does detract a bit from what you're seeing on the thing. In my opinion, you're gonna say that like, go ahead. No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Oh no.
Oh no. It's.
It hurt bad.
Oh really? Okay, so
it hurt bad, and every once in a while they would pipe in some crowd noise.
Yeah.
That hurt. I mean, I'm not trying to skip to the finish.
No,
but I'm going to, and then you can backtrack.
Yeah.
Dude, probably the most boring match in this whole series so far. And as a young kid, like whatever, 12 years old or whatever I was, loved it.
Okay.
Loved the match, loved the whole thing, and and it was fine. But this is one match that I just can't go back and look at with nostalgic eyes.
Okay, gotcha.
Like I watched it as a nearly 40-year-old man now, going like, because it's just, and maybe I'm is desensitized the word to use here,
Jaded.
Because it's like wrestling now. Well, actually not. Currently.
Yeah.
But for the most part, wrestling's this big, and it was even then, but, crowds are going nuts and everything's happening, and then you go back and watch this match, and it's like, fuck. I mean, the match was good, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, there was so much that brought it down so
well,
bad.
I think the other thing is you said the crowd was piped in. I don't think it was necessarily piped in.
Well, I don't mean like that, they would turn it up once in a while.
Well, that is that. But I think the other problem was when you look at the actual setup, like what the people were saying, you had the one video wall in the back.
Barely.
Yeah, but then you had all these janky ass TVs on carts.
I was getting ready.
So
to get
it's
to that
like
next.
literally, if you were up here, like the video wall's over here, and you're like over here, you're fucked. You ain't seeing shit. So
this was pre
Titantron,
yeah, and all that kind of shit. So like,
and you're thinking like, I get it, like business is business or toilet or whatever, but it's like Vince has never skimped on production. Like that's the one thing you would have to say, no matter what. You can watch the crappiest In Your House from '95 possible. It still looked incredible. You watch his Weekend, Superstars, or, Wrestling Challenge, it looks good.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no excuse. If he already knew he was going to do this match, that was clearly going to be more beneficial or for the home audience, like we're going to get more out of it than the live crowd.
Yeah.
Would you not try to make it good for the live crowd as well? It's like, what, projector screens? I don't know what you're going to do, but it's like you could have done so much more. But
and I've noticed that a lot before, too. Like, that's how they did it.
Yeah.
They'd wheel out 8 of these, like old school, like if you're setting in class.
Yeah, it really was.
They wheel in the TV.
The AB club came down, like, here you go, you can have the...
Or, you're going to watch a movie for the day.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. It was those TVs, and so I'm like, so the front few rows are probably still barely seeing.
Oh, so yeah, even then, it's like...
they have a very limited video wall. Like, it wasn't really that much. It wasn't that big anyway, and like you said, it was kind of tucked away.
That, and it was also weird, like...
I think it was near the entrance, and the entrance for this, too, was kind of like back and around. Like, it wasn't like a straight ramp or anything. Mm-hmm. But, I kind of,
and the video wall is all gridded, too.
Well, you have several TVs.
Yeah, so it's also this kind of obscured whatever.
But I felt bad for that crowd.
Yeah.
For of the 17,000 people, maybe 200 people got to actually see the match, if that.
And then out of those 200, only like 10 of them saw it good. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, and... Well, I was going to get at, I won't skip to the finish of the match.
Oh, you're fine.
But, there's a part where the two are battling back to the ring.
Yeah.
And I think it's Mankind. I can't remember. I think it's Mankind. One of them runs into one of the TVs, knocks it over, and it's like, I don't know if these were like special like $18,000 TVs or something, because you see production people
scramble,
and even Mankind himself. They're like, oh shit, and you can almost see it, and it's like Mankind is even kind of trying to mess with it, and it's like Undertaker's stalking him. It's like he spent a lot of time on that TV.
Yeah.
But I just wondered, I was like, was that like a super expensive TV? Vince, God damn it, Mick.
No, you're right.
Why put one in the middle of the aisleway anyway, facing nothing?
Exactly.
Facing but nobody was seeing that.
I was gonna say, it was like literally in the aisle. So like you have to kind of look to the side to see it on both sides of it. It's just like, well, the point I'm saying is like, their goal is of the match to get to the ring. So it's like, unless they're going so kayfabe, you're like, well, he's gonna hurt him so much that boy. He's just gonna stroll to the ring, walk around that TV. It's like, no.
How about when you see that they're coming through the curtain? Hey, let's wheel this out of the way.
Exactly.
Because clearly at this point they don't need the TV.
Exactly. Because it's funny too, because on some wide shots, you would just see on the TVs what you're seeing on the camera, and you're just like, this seems so ridiculous. Like, who's doing it now? So, but back to the Brawl real quick.
Yes. Go ahead.
No, you're good. We're gonna hit all these anyway, so we'll get it out of the way when we can. So we get insane hardcore fight here. We're talking everything from planks of wood, pipes, trash cans. At one point they open up a pipe and steam hits, which I still want to say I bet that was probably a fire extinguisher, but you know what? We'll pretend like it was a boiling hot thing of steam that got him.
Taker's face would have been gone.
Yeah, that's true actually. Well, not just that, but if it would have been the fire extinguisher, wouldn't he have like the white shit on his face too? So it was something. But either way, cool visual nonetheless. Mankind throws him into like one of those like shutter door type things. Yeah. And the spot he runs, and he throws his knee next to it, but dude, it looks so devastating and just loud. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Both of them get kind of fucked up pretty good. You'll notice there's like actual good cuts on their arm where they're like scraped up and bloody. And
it was legit. This wasn't a gimmick boiler.
No, exactly. I mean, they were literally.
Which brings up one quick question. Like, when Vince goes to whoever owns that building or whatever and says,
I was just wondering the same thing.
Listen here.
Yeah, what was that meeting like?
We want to fight in your boiler room. Now, we know that the entire power grid for this entire building is based in this room. And we're going to have two of our biggest wrestlers throwing each other around in there.
Just messing shit
cool?
up.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too. Is just like what is that conversation like? I just imagine he's just gonna be like, "Hey, listen, pal, we're gonna do this." And the guy's just like you realize a real boiler room, right? This is our boiler. Like this is the purpose. This isn't a movie set. Yeah. This isn't like this. Literally is running the entire arena.
Yeah, if it's like something up in there, it's.
He's like, I guess. Go ahead. It's funny too. You're talking about how when you was a kid, you have different recollections of this thing or whatever. I remember this boiler room being massive and almost like a labyrinth for some reason. Like I remember it being like a Freddy Krueger boiler room.
Definitely not as claustrophobic.
And not as that, but it was just like it was really just one. I mean, it was a good sized length, but it was really just a one shot. Like they didn't really. It was clearly like you walk in and then it was like one whole hallway full of pipes and whatever, and that was it.
That's what because it's like you had like two walkways and then like this big row of shit that they was probably not should be probably shouldn't be fucking with.
Yeah.
But that was about it.
That was it. And like I said, as a kid, for whatever reason, if you would have asked me before we rewatched this, like. Describe that boiler room. I would have been like, it would have been like Freddy Krueger. I'd be like, well, there's catwalks and there's just pipes everywhere. Exactly. They're turning around. There's dark corners and that. It's like, no, there was really none of that shit. But once again, I mean, I was 11 when this came out. I was probably 12 when I actually watched the match. But, still yet. So we're talking a good few years ago. So clearly, and we're going to get to that throughout this month too. There's a couple of matches where I'm just like, I remember things a lot differently. And like, you put those nostalgia glasses on. It's like, wow.
That's what I was going to say because I will say this because some of this past stuff we've done. There was a few of those matches. This is the first time I've ever seen them.
Okay, yeah.
I wasn't really into WWF a lot during the new generation. I've mentioned this a million times.
Oh yeah, no, you're fine.
But right here, like fall of '96 is when I really started watching it again.
Back up. So this is kind of your era right now.
Because my dad was really big into it, and he actually went to an event that we're reviewing.
About those one too.
And he had the program and everything. So I'd say whatever that event was. Well, I know what it was, but
yeah.
But I think that's probably because it was one of those things. We all went to my grandpa's house, who got all the wrestling pay-per-views all the time, and we watched it.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that too. Everybody has like that one relative who's like super into wrestling, and
it was that thing, just seeing, taking a 2 or 3, 4 year break and then watching it, it's like, man, things have changed.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm older and I'm liking this so much better.
Yeah.
There's fuck Macho Man, fuck Hulk Hogan, and the colors and the.
Oh no, it really, you're right. And in fact, I mentioned this, a few weeks ago when we kind of entered what I consider, even though we're not in the Attitude Era now, I still consider this my Attitude Era.
Yeah.
For me, like King of the Ring up is just like these don't feel like chores to watch. And I'm not saying like all the matches were bad, but we would have those blocks of matches that was just like Taker versus Bundy or Taker versus Gonzo, and you're just like, fuck me. But it's like even the worst matches we've watched recently are still good matches. Like, I mean, even if they are like, you're like, at least it's not a chore to get through. It's actually kind of fun to watch regardless. Whereas before, it's like, my God, and it was just a different time. Like, I don't know, it felt like so old school. Like, you watched Luger and Mean Mark from whatever the fuck NWA pay-per-view watching.
But I guess at this point, a lot of people weren't feeling the same way because WCW, who was loaded with those people, were getting, they were. So, and this guy was probably like, let me do like Hulk Hogan at the NWO. I don't want to see Undertaker and Mankind.
Before tribalism became a thing in wrestling, I was the guy who watched back and forth. Like, because, I mean, and that's the thing.
I watch one and take the other one or something like that. Yeah.
Well, see, Brawl, they only had the one show, and then during the summertime, Nitro would do 2, because they do the first Nitro and then they have an encore.
Yeah.
So I never watched WCW live during that era. I would always watch Raw live and then watch the encore WCW. So I think I was probably, was the reason that, WCW was losing out those ratings there.
I think the encore still counts.
Does it count? Seems like it'd be kind of a cheap number, though, because you'd be like, well, I guess it doesn't matter, though. I mean, if they're willing to put it on there, they'd be like, eh. But no, I'd watch both. So it's one of those things where, and the thing is, like, as a kid, I didn't know, like, companies and all. I just thought, like, wrestling was wrestling.
Yeah.
And so, like, literally, and you always seen wrestlers go back and forth anyway, so I just always assumed that, like, literally, I don't know, anybody could show up at any company they wanted to at any time. Like, I didn't realize there was contracts or anything like that. So, to me, it just felt like it was all one big thing. And the fact that I watched USWA and Lawler was on that, and WWF is just like, well, yeah, this makes perfect sense.
So would you? And dude, I know we're getting way off track. But,
they know at this point. They know the show at this point.
Yeah. So would you be one of those people when you see Razor Ramon come out on Nitro, like, whoa, man, is this some kind of? Is this an invasion? Is this some kind of like infiltration?
Half and half. Part of me when they did play it off like that.
Because dirt sheets were a thing, but they were much more difficult to get a hold of.
That, and like I said, I was 10 or 11 around this time, so it's like, I wasn't going to the newsstand like, hey, Meltzer, give me that, I want to know no, it was still real to me, so, it was one of those things where, I had no idea. So, Boiler Room Brawl, we keep getting off topic here, they're battling through there. What is interesting to note here, another little, nice little touch is, during this whole match for the most part, it's just them fighting, but then it's Taker, who looks like he's trying to get away. And I thought that was very interesting because it's like he's the guy who's scares everybody else. Everybody's trying to get away from him, but this is the first time we see Taker trying to get to the door and Mankind stops him. And it was just like...
Yeah, is he trying to escape to win?
Yeah.
Or escape to get the fuck away from Mankind?
And so it was just like, I love that little touch. Now later on, Mankind should be on the air foot, Mankind's trying to get out, and of course Taker's dragging him back, but still, it was just neat to see that, even Taker is like, I want to get out of here. This is a lot more dangerous than I thought it would be.
Yeah, this match is not very good. I'm out of here.
I'm gone. They would fight. They get out the Boiler Room Brawl. I do love how we had multiple cameras set up throughout, but it was just like they clearly weren't there initially. Like, you could tell there was editing done there. It was just like, it kind of takes you out of
that's kind of what I was getting at, like their first, I guess Backlot Brawl would have been, but like kind of
but still saying, this is only a few months, removed from that, so it's still kind of
more cinematic, like edited cut, kind of matches.
Exactly. And so we get out into the hallway, and they're fighting out there, and they're just and one of my favorite lines is JR goes, "This resembles a prison riot." And at this point now, the commentary's starting to come back, and I really, it really does kind of help improve it.
Yeah, because once they're in the hallway, that's live. Okay.
I'm sure. I'm assuming it is. It has to. I can imagine they got everybody down there because they had a lot of wrestlers lining the hall there. Steve Austin's in there for a second, just kind of jeering them on. I love that too. So they're getting out there at one point. I think it's Mankind. He grabs a big thing of boiling hot coffee.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just like, holy. And I think they even put a little steam on when that happens because it's just like it gets foggy quickly. And you're like, still kind of cool.
Again, he would have been.
Blistering, burning, but it's like, it is what it is. So we finally make our way out to the arena, and they start battling all the way there. And at this point, it's funny because I guess I'll kind of do my slight review as well. Like, I really love this match. Like, and when I was younger, I felt like it went too long. Like, to me, it felt like once you had a boiler room, it's like, end it. Like, that's all I cared about was like the carnage, the heart. Even though hardcore, I didn't know what hardcore meant at the time.
Yeah.
I love that style. So when you have the boiler, I'm like, we're done, right? Like, grab the fucking urn, let's get out of here. But it just felt like it dragged on. Whereas rewatching it now, it clearly is. It's a long match, but it's like there's definitely two parts, and it really kicks into another gear because once again, these guys aren't really tired. They literally just recorded all that night forward, so this is literally them.
Yeah, fresh.
Let's do it, and they got and done. So it was like you get this second rejuvenated match that gets as crazy as as it can get out there. We're getting concrete spots and Foley falling off the goddamn. At one point, like, he pulls him back, like they're on the apron together. And he just does that thing, and dude Foley just splats, and you're like, son of a bitch. Like,
yeah, he didn't give a fuck back then.
And the thing is, like, I always hear people say this, and it always kind of irritates me, because I'm just like, he entertains people with his own choice, but you are watching it going, dude, you don't have to do this. Like, seriously.
Knowing how he's going to end up.
Exactly, that's the thing.
He's fine, but he's not walking very well.
I'm saying, physically he's not fine,
Yeah.
Luckily, mentally he's okay. For the most part, but it's like, literally this dude hobbles everywhere he goes, and you're just like, this is why right here. So these guys are killing each other. The TV spot, which I was going to mention when you did earlier, they do not get over, right? It's great stuff, though. It's just fun. Because once again, it also is like, even if it was fake, or real, it is like, that is probably the big thing. They're like, hey, watch out for using that equipment, right? We're going to put it out there. When they get out there, just get it away. And they're like, watching this match, pretty good. Oh, Shepard! Oh no, it fell.
Yeah, because like I said, it was Mankind included.
Yeah.
Everybody scrambles towards that TV.
And he's just like, oh fuck, it went down.
It's like Taker should have just
fuck this TV.
That's when you just get in the ring.
Exactly. Yeah, he's like, oh, they're all worried about that. I'll grab that urn right now. They get in the ring. We have a little more battle. We get a mandible claw. We get a tombstone, and then Taker goes over to Bear and he drops down. And he gestures for it, And Bear just clutches it. And it's like, what? And then he turns back. And I was like, what the? And Taker, now as a kid, I was like, why didn't Taker just get up and grab him and beat his ass right there? As an adult, you're like, no, there's some emotion here. Like, this is his best friend, essentially. A father figure, a best friend, his partner for 6 years. And in real life, we know that they were even paired up in like other indies in the world class down in Texas. So it's like, there's even more history here than what's on, but just even in the bubble, it's like, that's Taker's only friend. Like, any ally he would come across, they would break up, Jake the Snake, or the short-lived tag teams he would form with everybody at Survivor Series, but it's like, the one constant was always Paul Bear. So, when you see Taker with this confused look on his face, and he's not just like, give him a fucking, he's just like, what, why, get it, here. It's just like, you can kind of feel it for some reason. And then, Mankind comes behind, Pearl Harbor job, takes him down, and then when Taker kind of fights back and gets back up, crack, and dude, Paul Bear gives it to him. He just bashes him in the head with it, Taker goes down, and then Mankind cinches in that mandible claw, puts him down for good, and then he gets the urn. In hindsight, I always thought it was kind of odd too, like, why would you have a person hand the urn over in the first place? Like, from a real sports perspective, like, would you not just have that thing on a pedestal?
Should have been on a pole.
Pole, even, I mean, Russo was writing around this era, so I mean, even then, even as a kid, I thought that was kind of odd. Like, even before the screw job happened, I was thinking, like, well, that seems kind of unfair to Mankind, though, because he may go in there and be like, hey, give me the urn. He's like, no. Like, you know, I mean, if it was, like, played out like it would be. So it does seem kind of odd anyways. But once again, it makes sense for the screw, or for the the betrayal, the swerve, and everything.
Yeah.
So they crack Taker's skull open. He goes down, unconscious, and then him and Mankind and Paul Bear leave together. People are pelting him with garbage on the way out, which I fucking love. I always love a good garbage pelting. And then the music kicks on, and then kicks off, and then it kicks on, and kicks off, and I always imagine, like, you know, the Druids are back there. Because once again, here's how I always imagine Druids. They're not wrestlers. These are just people that Taker hired on the cheap to help him out.
Yeah.
You know, once again, being the dead man is a lot of work. And, you know, Paul Bear's shoulders a lot of that responsibility. But, you know, for the most part, it's like, we got to have someone do the lights. We got to have someone cue the music. You know, we got our special effects, trapdoors. Like, we got to have a team. And so he has this group of Druids that follow him around. And so I always imagine that whenever Paul Bear screws him over, the Druids are like, whoa, what the fuck? Jeff! You watching this? Like, Jeff's like, oh, fuck! What we do? He's like, he'll sit up, hit the music. He's not sitting up. No, we're looking like an asshole. Cut the music, cut the music. Okay, you know what? He's gonna sit up now. Hit the music. Fuck, cut it! What do you guys want to do? And then, you know, Josh comes out there, he's just like, I'm the leader. He's like, we need to go out there and we need to get him, bring him back. Like, he's looking bad, he's gonna make us all look bad. And they're like, fuck, alright. Ted, listen, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna get Undertaker, we'll grab him, just hit the music then, alright? I don't think he's gonna sit up, I don't know what's wrong with him, just hit the music then, we'll bring him back here, alright? Frank, put your mask on! He's like, oh shit, sorry, put the hood on. Alright, okay, here we go. We're Druids, okay. Oh. And they go out there, and they pick up his lifeless body, and they drag it out there, and he goes out, Jesus style, just arms draped, and they carry him back there as the music hits. And it's funny to me now, like the entrance ramp or the entrance way there, the crowd's right there, and like how like no person reached over and just grabbed the hood and ripped it off, be an asshole, really surprises me. I mean, it is a different time. I'm like, yeah, today you're gonna have like that one prick and I'll be like, look at this, you know, I was like, but no, no one did it, and they take him back there, and that was the end of that.
And this is the second time we've seen.
Yeah,
this,
Taker had to be kind of carried out and taken away or whatever. And here's how I attribute this to is it's a mixture of Taker just went through one of the most hellacious matches he's ever had in his life against an opponent who really did put him through some fucking pain. Couple that with the fact that he's got his brain scrambled in by the urn. And then the betrayal of Paul Bear. And I think, honestly, just the fighting spirit of the Taker just left him. Well, and at this point, he was just like, there's no point in me sitting up, you know, there's no more power of the urn, obviously. Yeah. And he was just like, I'm done. I'm just, you know, match is already over, I lost it. why? And so once again, he's embracing the coma he's slipping into. He's not trying to fight it. And the Druids knew that, went out there and grabbed him and got him the fuck out of there. And so that was my behind the kayfabe of how it happened right there.
But when you were talking about that serious emotional connection between him and Paul Bearer, one little thing that again, little touches, little things,
little nuances,
they do.
Subtle nuances.
So after they've attacked him, Mankind and Paul Bearer double team him, give him the boots.
Put the boots to him.
Taker's still crawling towards Paul Bearer. Not, I'm going to get you.
No,
but please.
Why? Begging. What's going on?
Give me, he never stopped. He, it was like, so it was just one of those things.
Hand on the boot, trying to, just trying to pull himself up. Like, listen, why?
He didn't want to beat his ass immediately.
No,
he was just.
I would even say during this match he wasn't trying to beat his ass. I think it was also new to him. Like, why did you do this to me? Completely, And once again, I took him down. Aftermath. Once again, I apologize because let's go to the next one. The feud continues. I mean, we're not done yet. And he's got some loose ends to tie up, not just with Mankind, but Goldust as well. So come back next week. We'll talk about that. Let's get to the actual review. You pretty much gave to it, but go ahead, reiterate, give us a star rating there. What is your review? While I'm drinking this delicious Hardy's beverage right here.
Crowdless and commentatorless, the crowdless and commentatorless Boiler Room Brawl itself. I'm sorry, if that was the whole match, this would be a 1-star for me.
Fair enough.
Fortunately, everything that happened once they get out of the Boiler Room, awesome.
Okay.
I liked the fight through the hall. I like this cool. All kind of the B grade wrestlers kind of hanging out there, and they get back in and all the action. The best part. I mean, there was some awesome stuff in the Boiler Room. But I mean, you covered it. There's nothing else I need to say about that. But when they get back out into the arena, I thought that was good. And again, another plus to Undertaker matches. And I'll say this probably every review. There was story. Yeah. There was emotion. There was
character arc. I mean, everything. I mean, it really was very. I mean, for lack of a better term, it's very cinematic, even as far as storytelling. Yeah. Goes. I mean, it really was.
The action really ramped up then. I thought it was just an awesome finish. Because obviously we already knew that Paul Bearer goes with Mankind eventually. But, I guess I didn't really put the pieces together at that time, and it was like, this is it. This is the.
Yeah, no, honestly, that's the thing is literally at the time, it really was a shock, because.
I was thinking for some reason it was later on when
like I said, at the time, I literally had no idea, and so felt just as Crush Taker. It really was what the fuck? You gotta remember at that time. I mean, I'm not saying you didn't have people turn from face and heel or whatever, but it wasn't as rampant as it is now. And back then, characters were pretty much characters, and when they did switch, it was pretty impactful. I mean, and so it wasn't like Hogan was going to Hollywood one week and I'm back to being a Hulkster. No, it's no, once you made a switch, that was it. And so the fact that Taker and Bear were such a unit for so long, and then it happened, it really was what the fuck? And then, like I said, I was always on that mindset well, Mankind's a little guy, he's crazy. I didn't know Cass Jagger and all that stuff at this point. So I'm just okay, Taker, you're a little shaken, but you got him. You're fucking Undertaker, you're gonna beat him. So it was just seeing him get beat and then get screwed over by Paul Bearer. It was fuck me. What the hell? Yeah. So star rating.
So I'm gonna give it 3 stars.
Okay.
It's going from 1 to 3 because of the last half of that.
Fair enough.
I get what you were saying earlier about the length. It probably could have been a little shorter. At least the Boiler Room stuff could have been cut down a little bit.
Now I say that as a child though. As an adult, I loved it. I'm all out now. For me, I truly did love this thing from start to finish. I would say bell to bell, but I don't think there ever was our opening bell. But anyway, no, I did love it all the way through. I love the hardcore style in the Boiler Room. Even if it was edited and staged, I thought it was really well done. And once again, speaking on behalf of someone who's taken bumps before, not very well, but I've taken the bumps. Whenever I see matches now and I see people take bumps on the ramp or the concrete in the back, it's it's a whole new respect level there. So it's watching these guys, not just Mankind. Taker's taking bumps too, and you're fuck, Taker, you're huge, and you don't ever take bumps on concrete. But it's he was. I mean, you can tell he truly loved and respected Mankind, or I guess Mick Foley, because once again he went with him to the extreme on all these matches.
A lot of exposed concrete on these next few
Oh,
matches.
yeah, exactly.
Lots of blue mats.
Yeah, so no, it was what it was like. Yeah, you could just tell he was, he was game and he was willing to go as far as it took, and so that really helps it out. One spot I forgot to mention was the ladder spot.
When the screen went off.
Oh my god, dude! Watching Mankind fall back, and he doesn't even hit the bottom. Like, he hits the back part of it. It's like he hits concrete, and you're like, "Fuck, Mankind!" But it looked incredible. Like it really was. He does one part where he comes off the ladder, not nearly as high, but he comes off and hits an elbow or whatever. But then the second time, he goes off and hits nothing but. I mean, there's probably a pattern there, but once again, the fact that he misses that almost completely, it's like didn't fucking matter. Like, god damn. It gets, once again, we get out to the side, and, the commentary definitely helps boost it back up. I'm giving this a full 4 stars.
Wow.
Honestly, this was probably one of my favorite, and honestly, I will always have the Royal Rumble 92 as a personal favorite, but as far as Taker matches, right now, this is probably my favorite Taker match. And that was actually helped by Yokozuna casket match 94, but this one just had so much more story, emotion, action. Once again, I agree with what you're saying about the commentary, because once again, it does kind of hinder it. But I guess knowing that going into it was kind of like, well, okay, I know to expect it now, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And then once again, I guess the fact that I was like, when I went to go put it in, I was like, I had the DVD. When I go turn it on, Coliseum home video, I had the VHS. But when I went to go hit play, I was like already telling myself, like, well, shit, dude, you got a long match ahead of you now. Let's fucking do this. And it didn't feel that long. It really breezed through.
I guess I shouldn't have.
And so I'm saying 4 stars. It was just a hell of a match. So that brings it down to 3.5. So that's still pretty high ranking for. In fact, 3.5 is our highest one so far. So it's joining the ranks. We've yet to have a perfect 4-star across the board, but it definitely joins the ranks as one of the best matches ever. I think, and really, despite what you think about the match itself, as far as storyline goes, this was a very pivotal point. Not just in the Taker Mankind feud, but Taker's career in general. Because once again, this is where now he's going to have to go out on his own and restake some things and get some, different things going. So we get a different evolution in the character and everything else. So yeah, that was the match right there. So any closing thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Nah, I think we handled that pretty well.
Yeah, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us. That's all we got this week, guys. Tune in next week because we're gonna be we're going back to your house. We're gonna get inside your house.
In your house.
That's right. And we're going to do the next match, but we'll talk about it next week. So, guys, that's all we got. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Oh, shit. Didn't always run. Sorry. Hi. Thank you for watching that video. Be sure to give us a thumbs up. Share it. Subscribe to our channel. All that good stuff you do right here on YouTube, go ahead and do it. Check out our other videos. Go to our playlist. We got episodes of TPS TV, Journey Through the Darkside. We got a new show coming out, the horror movie review with Daniel Richardson. This guy. And of course, our short film, Entropy. You can find all that and more right here on YouTube. And then check out, yeah, look at that. All of our social media right there. And we don't just, copy and paste like the same post and put it on all. No, that's ridiculous. 3 different platforms. 3 different posts. I mean, the behind-the-scenes stuff you see on Twitter will not be the same stuff you see on Instagram. So there you go, right there. So be sure to give us a follow and a like on all that right there. Keep up to date. Have you seen Unspeakable Acts yet? No? Come on. Pick you up the DVD right now. Links over there. Oh, yeah. It's only $7. $3 shipping and handling. And of course, if you've already seen it and you haven't seen the Public Domain Dungeon yet, boom, $5 DVD right there. So 5 S&P as well. Or sorry, 3 S&P as well. So there you go. Do that. And if you got the spare change, you want to hit us up, donate a little bit over here to TPS Productions. Our Patreon is right there. Oh, yeah. So that's all we... Oh, my God. Sorry. I'm getting fired, ain't I? Guys, that's all we got. Thank you for watching.